Hello everybody, Brit Engineer in Mindanao. I'm going to give you a demonstration of how my drilling rig works that I built. I built it myself from scratch, no plans or anything, just had a good idea what I wanted. Got the steel, started to build, mount the gearbox, the motor. I put a clutch on the motor that I sent from the UK. I made my own water swivel, bits I got from the UK again, because when it's drilling, it actually, water feeds in through here into this swivel and then goes down through the middle of the drill, so it ejects out of there on the drill. So when it's actually drilling, it's washing all the cuttings, coming back up the hole to the surface, to keep the hole nice and clean. It does really work really well as well, so you get all the water goes straight down through the middle of there, through the drilling rods. What you have to do is, where it actually drills, here, where the drill goes in, you've got to dig a small hole, probably a foot in diameter, a foot deep, so the water will come up from down below, come up into there. Then you have to do a channel across the floor, just about 4 inches deep, 6 inches wide channel. And then you'll do one hole where this white foam is. You do a hole there, probably a metre in diameter, about 2 foot deep, and that's where the initial water that's come up from the drill will go into, and it'll carry all the sediment and drilling into that first hole. Then what you do again, then you do another channel to where this round lid is here, with another hole the same, about a metre in diameter. You can go slightly deeper, which is probably a good idea, a couple of feet deep. So all the clean water will run from the top, or cleanish, will run into this hole here, and then the pump here will suck from that hole the water through the pump, through the delivery pipe that will go all the way across and connect onto here, and it just recirculates the water. If the water gets muddy, it's good. The thicker it is, and with mud, the easier it is for it to lift the drillings up the hole and then circulate it round. As you're drilling, you have to keep topping the water up anyway, so you have to keep topping the holes up to keep the water, because as you drill in, it's going deeper and it's using more water to come back up. So the motor actually runs into a clutch, and then a single belt drive up to the gearbox. I bought the gearbox in the UK, and it actually came with like a little capstan on the top. I've never made any use for it, but it's always there. And then to lift the carriage up and down, we've got an electric 12-volt winch that runs off the 12-volt battery that you usually charge every night. It lasts 2 or 3 days, no problem at all, but I used to put it on charge every night, and it's a bit muddy now with my dirty hands. So I've got a remote then for the winch, so I can lift the drill on the winch wire. Sorry, the sun's a bit bright there. I can lift the drill, or when I start drilling, I just keep itching it down as it's drilling, so it goes into the ground. It keeps drilling, okay? So I shall start the engine. I'll start the motor. Oh, one thing I missed. This all comes to pieces. This whole thing comes to pieces, so it's easy to transport. So you put the bottom frame down on the ground, using a spirit level. You square it up both ways so it's nice and level. Then it's got 4 holes you put these 4 pegs, hammer these 4 pegs into the ground on all 4 corners that holds this in position. Then if the drill bites into a rock or something, it doesn't try and twist the whole thing, it's locked in position. I hit lots of rock, bits of rock when I was drilling, so it did jam a few times, and luckily nothing broke. Because of the belt and the clutch, it did actually slip the belt very slightly, which was a good idea because it didn't break anything. I didn't want to snap anything, so if it did lock when we were drilling through, did lock on a piece of rock or something, it would lock, and then I could just inch it up slightly and it would release itself, and then I could go back down again slowly. This is a sample of the rock I've got here. I don't know whether it's been coral or what it is, but this is what I had to drill through. And listen, it's hard stuff, and it's crystal. When you break into it, it's like crystal inside. So I don't actually know what this is, but it is very, very hard. Some of it took some doing to drill through. The 5-inch drill bit, the smaller one, it's actually hardened. I've got some special welding rods, hard facing rods, and I use those. Go on, Scamp, go away. The dog follows me everywhere. I use those and welded up the tips and then reground it, and then I've actually drilled, ground like teeth into it. So it was actually cutting through the rock, no problem. But what you do first when you set up, Scamp, go away. You will drill with your 7-inch drill first. This one. I drilled 19 feet with that, and then I put a 6-inch, well, it comes in 2 parts, 10 feet pieces, so I glued and riveted 2 pieces of 10-foot 6-inch tube together, put that down inside the well, down the hole, until it was tight, and knocked it in till it was tight. So that actually seals the head of the well off from any surface water that you don't want running into your well. You don't want surface water running in. So it was sealed off at 20 feet. And then you drill through the middle of that pipe with a 5-inch to whatever depth you need. And then when you're through with the 5-inch, you will, to your certain depth that you want, you'll put a 4-inch plastic pipe, comes in 10-foot lengths, glued together. I drilled and riveted it on the joins. I used collars. I bought collars, they were quite hard, so I put collars in and drilled and riveted them on and glued it as well so they wouldn't come undone. And then at the very bottom of the pipes, the first pipe to go in, for about 8 feet, say 2 feet from the bottom, I capped it off. I cut it, bent it, sealed it over, drilled and riveted the end together. Stupid dog barking at Caliban. I drilled and riveted it, sealed it off, and then with my saw I cut slots about 2 inches apart, loads of slots for about 6 feet, to allow the water to go into the pipe. And then I also wrapped the outside of the pipe in this very fine stainless steel mesh to stop any grit and gravel going in that will get sucked up by the pump. So my well is actually there, and where the 6-inch pipe comes up inside, the shuttering still on.